Have you ever wondered why some people seem to build wealth effortlessly while others work hard their entire lives but never get ahead? Here's a truth that might surprise you. The difference isn't luck, it isn't inheritance, and it often isn't even how much you earn. The real secret is crossing one specific milestone. That milestone is your first $100,000. Once you reach this number, the entire game of money changes. But getting there? That's where most people give up. Today, let me explain why this first milestone is brutally difficult, and more importantly, how you can actually reach it. Let's start with a simple question. Why is saving your first $100,000 so much harder than saving your second $100,000? The answer lies in something called compound interest, but not in the way most people think. When you're starting from zero, let's say you managed to save $5,000. That's a huge achievement. Congratulations. Now imagine your investments give you a 10% return in 1 year. How much do you earn? Just $500. That's barely enough to cover a week's groceries for most families. This tiny return doesn't motivate you. It doesn't change your life. And honestly, it makes many people wonder, why am I even bothering? Now compare that to someone who already has $100,000 invested. That same 10% return gives them $10,000 in 1 year. That's real money. That's a vacation, that's an emergency fund, that's peace of mind. And here's the kicker. They didn't have to work a single extra hour for it. Their money worked for them while they slept. This is what we call the manual labor phase of wealth building. When you're starting out, every single dollar you save comes directly from your paycheck, from your discipline, from saying no to things you want. There's no investment army working for you yet. You are the only soldier on the battlefield. But the math is only half the story. The bigger battle is psychological. We live in a culture of instant gratification. Scroll through social media and what do you see? Friends posting about their new cars, expensive dinners, weekend getaways. Meanwhile, you're eating home-cooked meals, driving a 10-year-old car, and skipping happy hour to save an extra $100. It feels unfair, doesn't it? This is the lifestyle trap, and it catches almost everyone. Here's the harsh reality. Most Americans are stuck in a cycle of financing their lifestyle. They lease a new car for $400 a month because they think they deserve it. They order takeout 4 times a week because cooking feels like too much work after a long day. They pay for 3 streaming services they barely watch. One purchase at a time, one subscription at a time, they bleed money without even realizing it. And then they wonder why they can't save. But let's say you decide to be different. You decide to track every penny, cut out the waste, and actually save. Now you face a different enemy, social pressure. Your friends might call you cheap. Your family might say you're missing out on life. They might even get offended when you decline invitations because you're sticking to your budget. And in those moments of loneliness and doubt, you have to remember this. While money isn't everything, not having it affects absolutely everything. Your stress levels, your health, your relationships, even the opportunities you can give your children. Financial security isn't about being rich, it's about having options. So how do you actually get to that first $100,000? Let me give you the practical steps. First, you need a brutally honest assessment. For 1 full month, track every single dollar you spend. Every coffee, every app subscription, every impulse Amazon purchase. Write it down. Most people have no idea where their money goes. They think they're careful, but then they realize they're spending $200 a month on food delivery or $50 on subscriptions they forgot they signed up for. This isn't about guilt, it's about awareness. Second, strategic cutting. Notice I said strategic, not extreme. Don't cut everything and make yourself miserable. That leads to burnout. Instead, identify the mindless habits that bring you zero joy. Maybe it's that gym membership you haven't used in 6 months, or the premium cable package when you only watch Netflix. Keep the spending that genuinely makes you happy. Cut the rest without mercy. Third, increase your income. I know, easier said than done, right? But here's the truth. We live in the most opportunity-rich environment in human history. You have a device in your pocket that can connect you to billions of people. Can you freelance on the side? Can you tutor students online? Can you sell a skill on platforms like Upwork or Fiverr? I'm not saying quit your job. I'm saying find an extra $500 or $1,000 a month from a side hustle. When you're building that first $100,000, every extra dollar counts. Fourth, and this is the most boring but most effective advice, maximize the gap. What's the gap? It's the difference between what you earn and what you spend. If you make $4,000 a month and spend $3,800, your gap is $200. If you make $5,000 a month and spend $3,500, your gap is $1,500. That gap is your wealth building engine. Every dollar in that gap goes straight into investments, index funds, retirement accounts, whatever works for you. The bigger your gap, the faster you reach 100,000. Let me give you two real examples. Meet Sarah. She's a teacher making $50,000 a year. After taxes, she takes home about $3,400 a month. She lives with a roommate, so rent is $800. She cooks most of her meals, shops smart, and drives a used Honda Civic she bought with cash. Her monthly expenses are around $2,200. That leaves her with a $1,200 gap. She puts $1,000 into a low-cost index fund every month and keeps $200 for guilt-free fun money. In 7 years, assuming a 10% average return, Sarah crosses $100,000. She did it on a teacher's salary. Now meet Mike. Mike makes $80,000 a year, much more than Sarah. After taxes, he takes home about $5,000 a month. But Mike leases a new truck for $550, lives alone in a fancy apartment for $1,800, eats out constantly, and has expensive hobbies. His monthly expenses hit $4,600. His gap? Just $400. Even though he earns way more than Sarah, he saves way less. At this rate, it'll take Mike decades to reach $100,000 if he ever does. See the difference? It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And this is why the first $100,000 matters so much. Once you reach it, everything changes. Your $100,000 starts earning $10,000 a year on its own. That's almost $1,000 a month you didn't have to work for. Suddenly, saving the next $100,000 takes way less time because your money is now working alongside you. But it's not just the math that changes, you change. By the time you hit $100,000, you've developed discipline, you've built habits. Saying no to impulse purchases doesn't feel like a sacrifice anymore, it feels natural. You've rewired your brain to think long term. You see opportunities differently. When the stock market dips and everyone panics, you see a buying opportunity because you have cash ready. When a friend sells their car below market value because they need money fast, you can buy it because you're not living paycheck to paycheck. This is what wealth momentum looks like. The rich get richer not because the system is rigged, though sometimes it is, but because they've crossed this critical threshold where money makes money. And here's the beautiful truth. That threshold isn't reserved for people born into privilege.